Hi everyone, my name is Ray and this is Carrie. We are Pilates instructors here at Willow Gardens Yoga Studio, and we both teach classes in yoga and Pilates where we blend the two practices. And today we're going to teach a 30-minute Yoga Pilates blended class that really enhances the pelvic floor. So we're going to start in rounding, and this is a Pilates posture that really helps you start to feel grounded in your space and come into the Pilates breath. And when you come into the Pilates breath, it helps you start to wrap your ribs around toward one another and really engaging the T-point, and that's one of the really common terms that you'll hear often in your Pilates classes. So Carrie is here in hook lying position. You're going to find your neutral spine, so just a little tiny space underneath the low back. You're going to press into your feet, press into your hands. And start the breathing now. You're going to inhale in the nose. Big exhale out the mouth. This is a posterior lateral breath. You're really breathing through the side gills here. It's really expanding to the side as you inhale. Then as you exhale, if you're fogging the window, starting to pull the ribs together and engaging your T-point. So the T-point here, that soft space right in between your ribs, you're hugging it toward the spine. Now let's breathe again. Inhale. Big exhale here. Now start to lift through the pelvic floor. So you're squeezing your sit bones together. You're lifting and squeezing your kegels. So feel that engagement happening as you pull everything in and up with the breath. Let's take 2 more of those so you can practice. Inhale. Big exhale. Open your mouth. Pull it in. Hug it all in. Think about the T-point. Wrap the transverse abdominal around and squeeze the pelvic floor. One more time. Big inhale. Notice her ribs are expanding from the side. Now exhale, pull it all in. Now hold it there. Hold that engagement, squeezing and lifting through the pelvic floor and squeezing those sit bones together even more. Now from here, we're going to lift up into a bridge. So you're going to press into the hands and you're just going to start to lift the hip bones straight up. Now from here, start to take little pulses. As you squeeze the inner thighs toward one another, you're pulsing up toward the sky. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to place a ball in between Carrie's eyes so that she can start to engage through her pelvic floor even more. So as she lifts up toward the sky, she's squeezing and engaging the pelvic floor. So let's do 5 more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now from here, she's going to hold it. Whether you have the ball or not, it doesn't really matter. Yoga block also works. And we're going to lift the right leg up until the right leg is parallel to the knee. And then she's going to very slowly lower the right leg down with control and roll the ball down as she lifts it back up. Roll the ball back up. Take 2 more of those, really squeezing and lifting, trying to lift through the pelvic floor here. 1 more time, lower down. Lift the leg up and then bend back into the right knee. I'm going to let her come down and take a little break here if she needs it. And then when she's ready, we're going to lift back up. You do the same. Here we go. Lift up. Squeeze and lift through the pelvic floor here. We're going to take those little pulses again for 10, 9. Squeezing on the ball will help you keep the pelvic floor engaged. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, squeeze and lift. Lift the left leg up. Press into the hands if you need to. Very slowly with control. Lower the left leg down just a few inches and then lift it back up. Really using the Pilates breath here. Lower down on your inhale. Use the exhale, HA breath to lift up. 1 more time. Squeezing and lifting, engaging the pelvic floor. Now bend back into that left knee. Lower the left foot down and then come back down. Very nice. So that's one exercise that's really great for forcing that engagement through the pelvic floor. So I'm going to go ahead and take this ball from her now. We're going to open up the knees and we're going to come into reclined butterfly. I'm just going to open up the hips a little bit here. This is also nice for the pelvic floor because it allows everything to stretch out and open up. Just opening up the hips, taking a few breaths here. Relaxing in this space. If it's difficult for you to allow the knees to come down to the floor, you can also take yoga blocks or Pilates balls and you can use those as buffers to help with the knees if you need to. 1 more breath here. Relaxing in this reclined butterfly. Here, slowly bring the knees back in together. Pull the knees into the chest. Give yourself a nice hug. Roll around on the low back. Give your low back a pelvic floor, as you're pulling the pelvic floor up towards your chest, as you pull the knees in closer to the chest, and then slowly release. Let's try that one more time. Big inhale as you pull the knees in, really squeeze, 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 and then release. Slowly lower the feet back down. Now from here, we're going to open up the knees, coming back into our reclined butterfly pose, and we're going to lift the knees and the feet both off the floor. You can allow your feet to open up a little bit, and then squeezing and lifting, we're going to pull the knees back together. Open up the knees, keep the feet lifted, and then pull the knees back together. Just really squeezing and lifting here, opening up and closing. Again, 2 more. Squeezing and lifting, using your breath if you need to, that HA breath, and pull it back in. Squeeze your knees in, give yourself another hug, rock around on the low back if that feels good. And then when you're ready, coming into your Pilates tabletop here, make sure that you have a nice 90-degree angle right in your knee socket. So notice how Carrie has a 90-degree angle here. We want to lower her legs just a little bit to try to get the shins and the calves parallel to the floor. Now from here, she's going to start lowering just the right leg down. So here we go. For 10, just tapping the toe. 9, really squeezing and lifting. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Left side for 10, 9. This also works the psoas muscle, this particular exercise. 6, keep pulling everything in nice and tight, lifting and squeezing through the pelvic floor. 2, 1. Now both feet coming down and lift back up. And here I'm going to place that ball again in between the thighs so that she can really engage the pelvic floor as she pulls the feet down and then pulls the knee back in. So just having something in between the thighs, whether it's a ball or a pillow or a yoga block, doesn't really matter, is going to help you keep that connection in the thighs. Let's do a couple more here. Really move with resistance here. Nice. Now coming back into the tabletop, she's going to stay there. I'm going to show you what this looks like with the yoga block, very similar. Now I want you to squeeze and lift through the pelvic floor here. So pull your sits bones together. Take your hands and place your hands right on your thighs. So start to press your legs back as you press back into the hands with your legs. And squeezing through the pelvic floor the entire time as you pull your ribs together, pull your T-point in, see if you can keep your neutral spine and give yourself that resistance, feeling the abdominal start to work, and make sure you're really squeezing the sit bones together, lifting through the pelvic floor and breathing. One more breath here. And then slowly start to release. Very nice. From here, we're going to start to roll up, coming into our tabletop position for yoga. So you can roll up, get some momentum, and then you can roll up over the knees, or you can swing your feet around, coming into tabletop. We're going to move through some cat-cows. Cat-cows are really nice because on your cow, inhale, lower the chest, look up, your pelvic floor is released, and then on your cat, you're rounding the spine, you're pulling in the pelvic floor, inhaling, exhaling. Let's do a couple more. If there's any other movement here that you feel like you need at this point, continuing warming up the spine a little bit, feel free to take it if you want to incorporate some hip movements or some shoulder movements. Just feel that out. And then when you're ready, come into a neutral tabletop position here. I'm going to think about really lifting through the pelvic floor. So when we do that, we're going to squeeze the sit bones together. So your booty is becoming really tight here. So squeeze the booty, lifting and squeezing through the pelvic floor, hanging on to that. My legs are actually a little bit shaky here. I'm really squeezing, keeping everything in nice and tight, and then just release. Let's try that one more time. Let's pull it all in, squeeze, 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 lifting through the pelvic floor, holding on to that, and then release. Very nice. From here, let's tuck the toes as we come into a downward facing dog. Pedal out your feet a few times, loosening up your hamstrings and your calves. Just feel this out, noticing how the body is feeling at this point in our practice. Pressing through the shoulders here, melting the heart up toward the upper thighs. And then we're going to come into a down dog here that's a variation of the downward dog with the feet turned outward. So we like to do this foot position a lot in Pilates because it really targets certain muscle groups. So what we're going to do here is really press back into our down dog. We're going to lift up onto the toes here. So you're coming up onto the balls of the feet, maybe even all the way up on the toes. Now here at the top of the toes, squeeze and lift through the pelvic floor. Squeeze, 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 and then lower back down. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, come up onto the tippy toes. Exhale, press it back. 1 more time, inhale. Exhale. Press it back. All right, from here, take your hands and just walk them back to your feet. Keep your toes turned outward and just stretch it out. Notice how the body is feeling. If your hamstrings are still feeling a little bit tight here, feel free to rock the hips side to side, just opening the hips a little bit more. From here, we're going to come into a halfway lift. Keep those feet turned out if you can. Now squeeze and lift the pelvic floor and then lower back down. Stretch it out 1 more time. Halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Now from here, let's walk the hands back out, coming into a high plank. Now hold that high plank. It forces the engagement in the pelvic floor here. Squeeze the sits bones together. Lower down for a push-up if you want to work a little bit more on your shoulders. Squeezing and lifting to press yourself back up. Make sure you use your ha breath. Let's try that 1 more time. Press back to the down dog. Walk the hands all the way back to meet the feet. Stretch it out. Maybe the hands come down to the floor this time. Lifting the heart for the half lift. Exhaling, coming back down. Walk the hands out, coming back into the high plank. Noticing, lifting, squeezing through the pelvic floor here. Make sure that your booty is tight, so glute muscles are hugging in toward one another. So sit bones coming toward one another, really engaging the pelvic floor. Option here for a push-up if you want to inhale down, exhale, press it up. Really nice. Take those knees if you need to, and press it back, downward facing dog. Let's walk the hands back 1 more time. Heel toe the feet out. So you're heel toeing the feet out to about shoulder width distance, and we're going to roll up 1 vertebrae at a time. We're going to engage the core the entire time we come up, and we're lifting through the pelvic floor as we roll up 1 vertebrae at a time. So everything's really tight, so keep squeezing here, squeezing and lifting through the pelvic floor. So even when you're in your strong mountain, arms are up, pelvic floor is lifting. Let's roll down 1 vertebrae at a time here. We're going to stop before the hands hit the floor. We're going to see if we can come up onto the toes a little bit. And then we're going to bring the arms behind us. So we're up on the ball of the feet. We're coming into diver's pose here. So we're up high on the feet, as high as we can get, and we're squeezing and lifting through the pelvic floor. Let's lower the heels down. Let's rise all the way to standing. Very nice. Let's release the arms. So we're going to do a little exercise here. So from here, we're going to stand up tall, squeeze and lift through the pelvic floor. See if you can come up onto the toes a little bit and just lean forward into the posture. So get your balance and just lean into the posture. And as Carrie is showing you, she's not going down very far, but she's lifting and squeezing through the pelvic floor. So she's pulling those sit bones together to hold that balance. So if you really want to work the pelvic floor here, you got to squeeze it in, and look how solid her balance is there. Slowly she's going to come back up. All right, now we're going to try that diver's pose again and see if it's a little bit easier now that we have that connection with the pelvic floor. So let's go ahead and roll down, 1 vertebrae at a time, bringing the hands down, coming up onto the toes, squeeze and lift through the pelvic floor. Pull the arms back behind you like a diver, like Greg Louganis, standing out on the edge of that platform. Hang on to it, squeeze and lift, hold it, and then slowly lower the heels down, coming all the way back up to standing. Very nice. And release. And anytime you're in a mountain pose in your yoga class, you always want to make sure everything is nice and tight here. From here, we're going to come into a tree pose. Tree pose is one of the quintessential yoga poses that people use to really tap into the Mula Bandha. The Mula Bandha is your root block, which is essentially the pelvic floor. So So we're showing you 2 different variations of tree. There's other variations. It doesn't really matter which one you take. Wherever you are, you're balancing and you're rooting up through the bottom of the foot. So you can have the foot low, you can have it a little bit higher, you can even use the foot as a kickstand. But wherever you are, you're really lifting and squeezing through the pelvic floor to hold on to this balance. And then Carrie, I believe, is showing you the hot yoga style for your half lotus tree. This is also really great for the pelvic floor. It also is going to open up the hips and the knees a little bit more. And in order to let go of that foot, you really have to have everything nice and tight, pulled in, squeezed in really well. All right, slowly lower down, coming out of that tree. And let's do that on the other side. Any variation, you can play with these variations here and just notice which one feels right for your body. But wherever you are, whichever one you're taking, make sure you're really squeezing and lifting here. Think about nothing but root lock, locking it all in, Mula Bandha, lifting for the balance. Keep your gaze forward. Notice your drishti needs to be forward, not down. And you're really focusing on squeezing the sit bones together, pulling it all in. Whichever variation you're taking here is really awesome. All right, good work, everybody. Slowly come down. Now we're going to move into a little bit more of an advanced posture here that we practice in hot yoga, and this is called toe stand. So if you want to take tree one more time, feel free, or you can try to move into your toe stand if you wish. You're going to come into a half lotus tree, and toe stand is really important for the pelvic floor. So bring the hands to heart center. You're going to fold forward here, all the way down. If your fingertips easily touch the floor, then you can slowly start to bend into the left knee coming onto the toe. Now I'm going to show you one way that you can really use the blocks to help here, just tapping into the pelvic floor. So I'm pressing into the blocks and I'm trying to lift my booty off my heel. So nothing but root block, Mula Bandha is really squeezing in here. And then eventually you might be able to bring the hands to heart center and hang on to that balance, but you can always have yoga blocks here. And right now my booty is sitting on the heel. So in order to get the booty off the heel, then I want to really lift up, and it's all root block, all pelvic floor, to get the booty off the heel for that particular balance. Now we're going to press back up. Take some strength to get out of that posture, and then we're going to come all the way to standing, release, and try it on the other side. So that's the most advanced posture that we're going to be working on today. So just feel it out and just only go into these postures as deeply as your body will allow you to go. So let's try the left side, coming into your half lotus tree. Again, you can stay there, or you can slowly start to lower down, bringing the fingertips to the floor. Right leg is straight, not bent. If the fingertips can touch the floor, then you can slowly start to lower down, thinking about really engaging through that pelvic floor. So really lifting through the pelvic floor, lifting the booty up off the heel to try to get the hands off the floor and coming into that balance, which is very challenging. You're standing on your toes, and it's really all pelvic floor there. And it's really hard to do when you're talking too, by the way. All right, now take the block if you want to, and really use the block to get the booty up off the heel for the balance. And then once you really feel that root block connection, it's way easier to bring the hands to heart center. So here we're going to press up, backing all the way up, coming all the way out of it. So hard, that posture, and release. All right, let's shake out those knees a little bit. I'm going to move my block out of the way. We're going to move into a few more exercises before we close our practice. A couple of my most favorite yoga postures. From here, we're going to heel-toe the feet all the way out to the outer edge of the mat. Bring the hands to heart center, and we're going to lower down, coming into a yogi squat. So feel free to move around a little bit here if you want to kind of rock side to side. If it's difficult for you to get your heels on the floor, that's okay. That's normal. A lot of people really struggle getting the heels all the way down. One trick here is to open up the feet a little bit wider if you need to get the heels down. But if you're up on your toes, that's okay too. Now, really think about the pelvic floor here. Think about your quads as well. You need to send them some love here because we're going to stand up. Lift and squeeze all the way up, engaging through the root block, through the pelvic floor, and also the thighs. Let's try that a couple more times. Let's lower down. If you're only going here, that's okay too. Squeeze and lift. Here we go, right back up. Very nice. It's kind of like squats. without the weights. Lots of work here. Here we go. Squeeze and lift. Whew, yeah, heart rate is up too, right? All right, release that. Heel toe the feet back in. Let's reach up, arms up, grab your left wrist, curtsy over to the right. It's a big stretch here. Feels really nice. Stretch it out, left shoulder up. Pull the left shoulder back a little bit there. All right, now we're gonna move into OMG. Oh my goddess, so here we go. We're gonna come in, we're gonna take the left foot behind, coming lower, but we're keeping the chest up. You can walk that foot out a little bit more, but all of a sudden you have this really nice pressure on the pelvic floor, on the root block that you really feel, that you wanna lift. Hard part's getting out. You want to try to do it as gracefully as possible. So let's try. So hard, right? Press it up, coming up. So fun to try. All right, here we go. Let's try the other side. Reach up. Grab your right wrist, curtsy yourself over to the left. Shoot the left hip over to the left. Really get that nice stretch to the hip so we can have a full body workout here. When you're ready, slowly start to come through into your OMG. Oh my goddess, so hard, right? It really looks easy when somebody else does this posture, but I mean, my heart rate is up, you can probably tell. Pull the chest up. Make sure that you're really engaging the root block. Squeeze it, pull it all in. That's it. Now keep that connection, keep squeezing to come up. There you go, keep the balance. So good. All right, everybody, let's take a big inhale here. Exhale, take a swan dive, forward fold, just feel it out. So much work today. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Let's walk the hands out, all the way out. Taking one more high plank, one more push up. If it's calling for you, on the knees or off, press back to the down dog. We're gonna hold our down dog here for a couple breaths as we really lift through the mula bandha, the root block, the pelvic floor. All good things happening with the body. Melt your heart toward the upper thighs. Press the palms. Big inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Now from here, we're going to come up onto the tippy toes. We're going to walk the feet up to meet the hands. Try to keep those legs straight if you can. Big hamstring opening here. And we're going to sit down. We're going to come into a balance on the toes. Again, really lifting through the pelvic floor here, activating the pelvic floor in order to hold this balance. So we're up on the toes as much as possible, squeezing and lifting. Hold on to it. A couple more rounds of breath here. You can do it. Awesome work. Now slowly lower down. We're going to do a little drill here to close our class. We're going to come right back into where we started. So we're going to come back into the hook lying position that we started in. And I'm going to give you a little quiz at the end of class. I'm going to see if you can really engage the pelvic floor. So do we remember everything that we need to do? So we're going to take a big inhale. And as we exhale, squeeze the sit bones together. Very nice. Ribs together. Sternum to the spine. Inhale. Pull it all in. Exhale. Wrap the transverse abdominis around. Posterior lateral breathing here. Inhale. Exhale. Two more here. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Hold on to it. Hold it. Squeeze. Squeeze. You can do it. I know it's hard. Squeeze. Hold it. You got it. And release. Feel the release of the pelvic floor. Really nice. Let's windshield washer the legs side to side. Should feel really good. If there's any other postures that you feel is calling for you today, feel free to take it now. Maybe you want to do a happy baby or even a shoulder stand or a plow, or just pull the knees in one more time. Give yourself a nice hug. Feel that out. Breathe, relax. And then slowly come all the way down into a short shavasana here. Everything is relaxed. Just breathe. Relaxing through the pelvic floor is just as important as activating the pelvic floor. We always want both yin and yang in our practice, making sure that we have a nice balanced practice, balancing the body, completely relaxing from the crown of the head all the way down to the bottom of the feet. Slowly start to come over into a fetal position on the right side of the body, rolling over, relaxing, and then slowly, mindfully coming back up into your seat, any easy seat to close the practice today. So that is a short lesson on how to engage the pelvic floor using both yoga and Pilates. Carrie and I both teach Yoga+Pilates blended classes, and we both think that they're a really beautiful way to strengthen the body as well as build on your flexibility and strengthen through your core, which is a really important part of the body because it stabilizes everything else. So really great way to blend the two practices together, and always thinking about lifting through the pelvic floor in your practice. And again, the tools that we use today that we offered are the yoga block or the ball. Anytime you can put one of those between your legs in any posture, it will force you automatically to really lift and pull up through the pelvic floor. All right, thank you all so much. We're signing off from Willow Gardens Yoga Studio in Buda, Texas. Namaste.